Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started, and then whoever joins in is more than welcome to join in. Thank you for joining us today to go over how to protect your reputation. So we're going to go through review management as well as some indexing tips and tricks. Let me just first start off by introducing Envita. Envita is a digital and social media agency that specializes in the multifamily industry throughout the nation with over 10 plus years in experience and 1,000 properties leased. We will have a Q&A at the end, so make sure to jot down any notes, questions, angry tweets, hopefully not, comments, and we'll definitely open it up to you all to be able to chat in any questions or submit any questions through the Q&A option. So I'd first like to introduce myself. My name is Chelsea, and I'm a marketing manager at Envita. I'd also like to introduce my co-host, Claire.
Hi, I'm Claire, and I'm also a marketing manager here at Envita. So what we hope that you'll take away from today's webinar kind of is broken down into three main things. So first and foremost, we want to make sure that you know how to manage your reviews on three heavy hitting platforms. This is going to be Google My Business, Facebook, as well as Yelp. Secondly, we hope that to leave you with some optimization practices for responding. And before we get into, the nitty gritty details of, the online optimization, this webinar is recorded and we will be sending you this along with the PDF of how to flag those reviews for removal for each profile that we run through. So first and foremost, we're going to discuss Google My Business. So it's likely whenever, that potential resident is first going to look up your property, they're going to head to Google to do a Google search. So we like to say the first thing you should do is to make sure that you claim your page if it exists. So if you're curious or you're not quite sure to find out if that page exists, you can just do a simple Google search with your property name as well as the city and state of the operation. So if the page has not been claimed, you're going to see an option to claim the business. On the other hand, if the page has been claimed, you'll want to go ahead and log into that Google account you have associated with the listing to go ahead and access that Google My Business dashboard. Once you go ahead and log into that dashboard, you'll be able to, edit, update any information, flag any negative reviews you see, and of course, respond on behalf of the property. So after you see if your page exists, you're going to want to second, make sure that the name, address, and phone number is accurate. So this is probably one of the most important things because you want to always make sure that the information regarding your property is accurate. This is going to help you look the most professional and, hopefully potentially, never miss that lead. And just by doing that simple optimization, you're guaranteeing the most success out of your Google My Business profile. So third, we'd recommend making sure that you have a detailed and informative business description. So this description that's going to be in your profile can be up to 750 characters. And you're going to want to make sure that this is as engaging and as authentic as possible because, this is going to be one of the first things that potential resident reads once they're on that page. So you want to make sure it's really all encompassing of your property and really setting them off on the right foot. Fourth, we're going to say you'd want to upload photos and videos. So 60% of consumers say that the local search results with good images are going to capture their attention and then push them towards the decision. So what kind of images or videos should you be posting? We say variety is going to be key. So this is going to be a really nice mixture between interior shots, exterior shots of the property, as well as maybe even leasing team highlights. The businesses that do have the photos or the videos, they're going to actually receive 35% more click-throughs to their website versus the businesses that don't. And lastly, we're going to say that you should be generating and monitoring those reviews. So typically, 50% of the consumers will visit a business website after reading a positive review, 15% will go ahead and visit that business location, and 13% will go ahead and contact that business directly. So how are you going to start generating those reviews? We have kind of three ways to lay it out. So first and foremost, you can go ahead and send an email or maybe make a follow-up call a few days after the services have been completed. So let's say that resident, signs the lease, they're moving in, maybe give them a few days, get them all settled, and send them over the link to your Google My Business profile, which they can go ahead and fill out. Second, we're going to say maybe empower those employees to ask customers to share their feedback online. So Google My Business makes it really easy once you're in that dashboard to create a short URL, and you can go ahead and do that through the email as well as third, maybe give them a handout, maybe with all the information of the property, if there's a pool, things like that, and include that link in there as well, just to make it as seamless and easy as possible to hopefully start generating those reviews. So Once those reviews are generated, you're going to need to monitor them. So the cool thing with Google My Business is that they will actually send you email notifications to the account when a new review is posted. So this is going to be a really great way for you to quickly flag any negative reviews that you see, as well as respond to both positive and negative. And another great thing is that they'll actually send you that email update when they're reviewing your flagging attempt. And right then and there, they're going to go ahead and notify you if it violates any policy, and they'll go ahead and remove it, or if they see no issue with it and it's going to go ahead and stay on that Google My profile. And just like a small pro tip here is that you can actually flag negative reviews once every 24 hours. So if you do kind of see, that one negative that you just can't quite, get removed, you can always flag it multiple times, but they do require it to have 24 hours in between. So then second, you're likely to see reviews on Facebook. So here we kind of have our 5 top, tips and tricks on how to optimize your Facebook page. First and foremost, make sure you're including any and all page details. So this can kind of go as something as simple as, the profile photo and the cover photo, making sure that they're eye-catching and really cohesive to your property. And you're going to want to make sure that these are high-quality images and correctly sized to really make the file look as professional and standard as possible. You're going to also want to make sure that your About tab is completely filled out. So, they have options for the Our Story, any information that might be about your business. And you're going to want to make sure that's original content, specific and unique to your property, because the original content is going to go ahead and help your page rank higher. And the third thing we'd like to say in the About tab is make sure that you have your website link in there. You're going to make sure this is updated, it's going to be accurate, because this is going to really allow your potential residents to easily get to your website to find out more information. Second, we're going to say to select the best template. So depending on the type of business that you're running, Facebook actually has created different templates that have different tabs kind of stacked on top of each other. So if you're ever curious as to what template you are, whether it's like business or shopping, you can always find out in the settings section of your page on the back end, and right then and there you'll be able to see it. And just a pro tip, so once you're back there in the settings wondering what tabs you could maybe add, you can always arrange the order of those that are going to show up on that left-hand side of your Facebook page. And just kind of depending on the priority to your property and what you want to kind of be the first things that they see as their eye scan down the list, that's easy, something that you can do and arrange at any sort of time. Third, we're going to say to pick your page call to action. So this is going to be the little button you see right below your cover photo, and it's going to be what helps those people take an action once they're on the Facebook page. And they have 4 options that they already have preloaded on there, and they're going to be first, book services, second, get in touch, third, learn more, and 4, make a purchase or donation. Once you kind of click those 4 options, they're going to be a little bit more customized as to, totally up to you and whatever you want that page action to be. And just as anything else with Facebook, you're going to be able to update this at any time, just kind of depending on your goal at that time. Fourth, we're going to say enable that reviews tab. So generally speaking, Facebook reviews tend to be more positive than other review platforms. This is, likely people are getting on Facebook to engage with their friends and family, not necessarily, write a review about, a product or service, anything like that. And enabling this tab is actually going to be a really great way to generate those reviews away from Google My Business. And it's also going to help in those Google search rankings, because they both do work off that star ranking, which is going to feed into those search results once that potential resident is going ahead and Googling your property. Just the same way, you'd get a notification on your Facebook page if, someone commented or wrote on your wall. The business page will be notified if that review is published via the notifications on your Facebook page. So you can monitor it really quickly as to what reviews are coming in and being posted on your Facebook page. However, you're going to see maybe more negatives are coming through than the positives, and they're not being flagged for remove, or they're not getting removed. You're flagging them, it's just kind of sticking there. You do have the option, just as you enabled the reviews tab, to go ahead and disable that as well. The important thing to note though here is that if you do disable that reviews tab, that's just going to completely turn off the reviews tab. So all positives, all neutrals, anything like that, it's going to just hide all reviews, not just the negatives. And then lastly, we're going to say to post frequently and engage with your users. So here with Facebook, it's extremely important for your optimization to be sure that you're updating your page and engaging with your audience. So you have, kind of found 3 great ways to incorporate, posting frequently, making sure that your content's engaging. First, you can go ahead and ask questions to elicit those responses for your audience. So maybe you want to ask them, what show have you been binge watching? Or, what book can't you put down? making those questions as to something that the potential, resident or current resident would want to go ahead and answer. Second, we're going to focus on, uploading those short videos, maybe streaming live videos from either, maybe it's a virtual tour, virtual event you did, whatever kind of fits with your property and what you think that, your audience would want to see. And then lastly here, we've seen great success with highlighting those members of your team on your Facebook page, of course, if they're comfortable, being on those social media profiles. This is really gonna let those residents get a feel for the property as well as, who they'd be interacting with on a daily basis. So with Facebook, it's just so important to make sure that, you're posting frequently, you're posting currently, and that you're engaging with your audience consistently. And third, Yelp. So just the same thing as you did, with your Google My Business page, you're going to want to make sure that it's claimed if it exists. So you can go ahead and find out if you have that Yelp profile just by doing a simple Google search, as well as, maybe just searching your property name on Yelp. Once you see if you have that profile and it hasn't been claimed, you can go ahead and do so, but make sure that you're using your business or your property email, because this is what Yelp is going to use to, validate and verify that, hey, this person has on behalf of the business. And it's important to know, you're not going to be able to update, edit, respond to any negative reviews until that page has been claimed. So that's why it's so important to make sure that you have that claimed if it's out there. And then you can also tell your business is claimed because there's going to be a small blue check mark that's going to be right next to your business name, and it's going to say claimed if it's claimed. Second, we're going to go ahead and say include any and all business information. So the way that Yelp works is that the more information you include, the more optimized the listing is. It really just lets more information out there, shows you're transparent and really trying to get as much information out there as possible. Third, we're going to say upload those high quality photos that showcase the properties. So Yelp runs the way of their rankings are going to increase with the more photos. It is important though to note with Yelp, and this also goes with Google My Business, is that these photos and videos can be uploaded by the owner of that page as well as, any reviewer. So it is important to note that you might be seeing other photos where you're like, oh, I didn't post that, or I'm not sure. Yelp and Google My Business does allow for other photos. So just kind of be aware of that. It doesn't necessarily mean that if you're the business owner that your photos are going to be prioritized. It's just really important to note that, there's that option for photos to kind of come on both sides. Fourth, we're going to say respond to positive, neutral, and negative reviews. So here it really demonstrates to those users that you're active on this platform, their feedback is valuable, and you're really trying to, continue that conversation to figure out kind of where that happy middle ground is and make sure that they understand that they're, valued. And it's also, on the other side too, not only will the user feel valued, but also it can help the property understand those reviewers' overall feelings and maybe make adjustments if needed. And it really just opens that conversation a little bit further. And then lastly, we're going to say to be purposeful when selecting those categories. So Yelp is going to allow you to select up to 3 categories as to what your business is and kind of what it encompasses. However, that does not mean you have to. And it's important too that Yelp will actually hurt your rankings if you put kind of irrelevant categories in there. It's not going to help to, stack on as many as you can. It's really going to be whatever pertains most to your business. And then that's going to be what you want to do, because you want to make sure that, your profile is optimized as correctly and accurately as possible. So now you have an idea of, what to look for and what you need to update to make sure these profiles are completely optimized, look as professional as possible when you're working on that online reputation. So I'm going to hand it off to Chelsea, who's going to dive into a little bit more on how to respond and just the overall online reputation importance.
Thanks, Claire. So now that you guys are set up for success, you're optimized, you're ready to go, let's talk about responding. So a lot of times we don't know how to respond, or we're not really sure. So we're going to walk through some tips and tricks. Make sure that we're always responding in a timely manner. So we don't want something to sit there for a few days, a few weeks, a few months, a few years. Don't worry, we won't tell if it's been a few years. Make sure that we're always responding in a timely manner. We also want to keep the brand voice in mind. So if you're the Wendy's of properties and you're that spicy redhead on Twitter, be the Wendy's of properties. If you're not, don't. You really want to make sure that that brand voice is consistent between social, in-person, review management. All of it should sound like one cohesive brand, one solid brand, no matter who's responding and who's doing it. Another great tip is to be empathetic. So if there's an issue, address it, apologize, accept responsibility if needed, and then move the conversation offline as soon as you can. A lot of times we definitely don't want any kind of what we like to call Twitter wars on social or even on our review management. We want to take any conversations that we can offline. Also, this kind of contradicts my first tip, but know when and when not to respond. So if someone is escalating the situation or dropping in laws, lawyers, crimes, police department, anything like that, I always highly suggest not responding until you seek professional help. We want to make sure that if someone is irate, if someone is escalating the situation, that we don't add fuel to the fire if we don't have to. So that's the one time that it's okay not to respond in a timely manner if you feel like it's not going to be appropriate. So why online reputation now? Well, online reputation management is critical for businesses to maintain a positive brand identity in the eyes of consumers, especially in a time where more and more people are using and spending time on social media. We've got more time on our hands to do research. We've got more time to comb through multiple review sites. Obviously, our favorites, Claire discussed earlier, but there are other sites that might be an investment to you or might be worth your time. Really making sure that we are taking the time to invest in our reputation, especially now because people are researching, people are bored, we're stuck in the house. So we're definitely making sure that we are doing a lot more research than we've done before. So what's holding businesses back from managing their reputation? It could be an array of items. It could be a lack of knowledge, a lack of how-to, lack of comfortability. It really ranges on why certain businesses don't really manage their reputation or don't really know how. So I will give you a few tips. Businesses monitor their online reputation frequently. 42% monitor their reputation daily. That sounds like a lot. We know it's okay. If that's not something you're comfortable with, we'll get to it. We can help you. Also, slow and steady wins the review race. So you're not going to change your online reputation in a day, in a week, in a month. Sometimes we really don't see any kind of benefit, depending on how bad the situation could be, in 3 months. Really make sure that slow and steady wins the race. Review management and reputation management is not for somebody who wants instant results, and neither is the optimization and indexing. It takes time, it takes dedication, and it really takes a comfortability level that you are publicly responding to people. So if you have a lack of comfortability, knowledge, resources, staffing, we can help you. Real quick, we do offer reputation management services. The first 3 are on a monthly retainer. If you need help and you're looking at more of a 3-month revamp package, we do offer that as well. If you have any questions or you'd like to know more about this, or we are doing free audits. So if you do email us at the end of the webinar, we will audit your company and give you the best recommendations on what we think would help or what would benefit. We're absolutely more than happy to help. If you do want to sign on for packages, we can get more details to you over later. So now you're a pro at responding. It's fully optimized. Now what? What are we going to do with all these reviews? We want to make sure that we're actually using these reviews for good and we're getting some results and some benefits. So a few ways that we incorporate reviews on our side is we incorporate them in social media, whether that's a static post like you see to the left-hand side, Instagram story, maybe an ad, maybe we're boosting this post, we're incorporating it into social media as much as we can. We're also incorporating it into the website. So whether you're adding it to that home page or to the gallery page or the floor plan page, incorporate it in that site. Let those reviews speak for you and do some of the heavy lifting online. We also can incorporate them in emails. So whether you're doing a monthly e-blast or you're simply following up with somebody who, I'm sure we've all heard this, I'm just shopping around, this is my first stop, I don't really know. Use those reviews to just collaborate what you've already told them during the leasing process, what you've already told them during the tour. A lot of times people are like, of course the leasing team loves this community and is showing us the great amenities, but what are our peers saying? What are people who've actually lived and leased here saying? Use those reviews to help boost and solidify that lease. So for example, this post on our slide here is for a luxury high-rise property in River North, a neighborhood in Chicago, which is extremely competitive. There's tons and tons of places to live on the market. So what we did is we took this specific review, we incorporated it into social media as a static post. And on Facebook, it reached 448 people. Someone shared it additionally onto their Facebook page, which again could lead to more reaches and impressions. And then it also got 18 likes on Instagram. So we just solidified that, yes, this is a nice community and yes, you should be living here. All right, we've got some do's and don'ts. So now that you guys are pros at indexing, responding, and using it on your social media, website, and emails, here are some do's and don'ts for when generating reviews or monitoring reviews. A lot of these seem like a no-duh situation, but we have seen in the past that even a no-duh situation turns into a situation. So make sure that if you are asking for reviews, we're never asking for positive reviews or positive feedback. We're not using that word. What I like to suggest is that you are asking people to share their experience or share their feedback or asking for feedback. The way that you can pivot this to kind of reach maybe individuals that had an excellent experience is that you're sending that link, you're asking that person specifically that had a good experience. So we're not asking somebody who didn't have the great experience, hey, you want to leave us a review? We're definitely not doing that. We are making sure that we are picking individuals that are going to give you the best shot at a review you'd be proud of. We're also going to make sure to take feedback into consideration, whether that's positive, neutral, negative. If there's something in there that you can take back and you can change and you can fix, it will end that conversation online. The worst thing that you can do is ignore the feedback and it continue and be a common theme in your reviews. If we're starting to see a common theme in reviews, other people are too, which means they're going to know, maybe this property's got amenity issues, I'm not interested, or this property has X, Y, and Z, and I'm not interested. Make sure that we are stopping any kind of consistent feedback by taking it into consideration. Again, too, while taking it into consideration, don't make it too personal, right? People just want to be heard online. Sometimes they leave negative reviews because they had a bad morning, they spilled their coffee or whatever. So try not to take things too personal and really don't try and really internalize it and take it into consideration. All right, so now that we've got you all set up on optimization, responding, how to use those reviews, we'd like to invite you to join us next Wednesday at 11 a.m. We're going to talk about your social content. Is it right for your brand? Is it helping you lease? Is it helping you sell? Really make sure you turn into that one. That one's going to be a great one. The email below, the getsocial@envita.com, is where you can send any additional questions that you might not want to ask right now. Or if you're looking at getting any kind of auditing done and you're just curious what's out there, definitely shoot us over an email. We can get back to you. But I'd like to open up the floor to you all. If you have any questions, comments, angry tweets, this is review management, let us know. You can go ahead and plop that in the chat.
So I do see that we have a question in the chat also. Hey, Brad. The question is, how do we find our business again? So whether it's going to be for your Google My Business, Yelp, Facebook, whatever it's going to be, you can just do a simple search of your property name into Google. Sometimes, if it's not like fully optimized or the SEO seems a little off, maybe the property name is, a little bit saturated, make sure to include that city and state of your operation, because that's going to really allow for the most chance for your business to show up, and you can find out if that profile has been created already. So we got another question too. So what happens if my property or business doesn't show up on Google My Business? Awesome question. So the way that you can do that is you can actually go ahead and create your own Google My Business listing. You'd just be filling out the information like you would with kind of any other social profile. And then, they're going to have you verify it, of course. So this might come in the form of a postcard that's going to be sent directly to your property address. Sometimes, if you have the phone number and they can verify it there through, the website, other searches, things like that, it's pretty quick and easy for you to go ahead and get that Google My Business listing up. And we can always kind of maybe send out a how-to if you, still are having a little bit issues, or, email that email we have on that slide, and we can kind of run through a little bit more of those information if you do have any other, issues in making sure that, you have that Google My Business listing created as well as optimized. So I see another question here. So how do you get rid of horrible photos that someone else has posted on my Google My Business or Yelp pages? Great question.
Yeah, we have all dealt, it's kind of like that friend that consistently tags you in those photos where you're like, cool. I look horrible. Thanks so much. A good way to kind of get rid of those photos that might be appearing on your Yelp or your Google My Business that you're like, these are horrible. When you go into either profile, there should be a flag option or a 3-dot option. When you go in there, click on it, and then it should allow you to flag that specific post or photo for removal. I will tell you from experience, keep up on flagging those photos. The first time, usually they're really reluctant to pull any of those down. So make sure that you are just going in every 24 hours and just clicking as much as you can, flagging them as much as you can. I've seen that being persistent has definitely worked. So don't take no for an answer the first time.
And then it looks like we have another one too. So I just recently heard from a Google volunteer that all Google reviews have been disabled due to COVID-19 until further notice. Has anyone else heard the same update or know any more information as to when they might resume? We've missed out on quite a few reviews recently that haven't posted to our property pages. Great question.
Yeah, I would definitely, I know with everything that's going on, unfortunately, a lot of those review sites have experienced some issues or have experienced ceasing. Ideally, after this is done, if those reviews do not populate, I would definitely reach out directly to Google, and that's something that we can do with. They should be able to then populate after all of this is done. I've seen it mixed. I've seen some reviews go live. I have seen some reviews not go live. So really kind of, I guess, depending on how they're dealing with COVID-19 and everything is how they're going to deal with the reviews. So again, after this all clears up and you don't see those positive reviews, obviously if you got some negative, maybe not say anything. But if you don't see those positive reviews, definitely reach out to that representative or let us know and we can absolutely help you. Awesome. Well, again, if you have any further questions or need any help or are interested in that free audit, please shoot us an email, visit our website, let us know, and then join us next week, same time, same place, and have a great rest of your Wednesday.